Germany's domestic intelligence agency has classified the far-right Alternative for Germany as an extremist organisation and threat to democracy. The AfD finished second in February's national election on almost 21% of the vote, making it the main opposition in parliament. Recent polls suggest it has gained support since then, with several showing it as the joint strongest or strongest party in Germany. The move by the Domestic Intelligence Agency allows closer surveillance of the AfD's activities. Our chief political correspondent Nina Haase told me more about this new classification of the AfD.
The AfD had previously held suspected extremist status by Germany's main intelligence agency, and the party challenged that description, that designation in court, but was not successful there, so that held. But now the agency says that they've got concrete evidence. They've put forward a report that is that consists of 1,100 pages, where they lay it out how the AfD, in their words, pursues efforts that threaten Germany's democratic order. Let's keep in mind, the AfD was founded as a Eurosceptic party in 2013, but has quickly moved further to the right over the years and adopted a very strong anti-immigrant stance. And the agency says, and I quote, that the party's prevailing understanding of the people based on ethnicity and descent is incompatible with the free democratic basic order. So they've looked at statements and positions by the party and leading AfD representatives and say that a lot of them violate the principle of the inviolability of human dignity. And that is something that is enshrined in the German constitution, i.e. they do now say that the party is unconstitutional.
And we know that the German parliament is made up of so many AfD members. What's this going to mean?
Well, they've got the biggest share of members in the opposition ranks right now after this year's federal elections. They scored a very, very good result overall nationwide. But if you look at the east of the country, there they almost scored half of the vote in many, many constituencies. And so, of course, this is a tremendous challenge now for German democracy. And all other parties have ruled out working together with the AfD, specifically because many politicians have warned of these right-wing extremist tendencies within the party, and that is why the AfD is not in government on federal or state level. And of course that is something where many people have said, how do you deal with a situation like that when a party is clearly the big tent party in some parts of the country, and now an agency says that this is an unconstitutional party?
Couldn't this move make the party even more popular?
I think this move now triggers two tendencies. One, it will definitely feed into the narrative of the far-right AfD that has said over the past months and years that all other parties feel threatened, which is why they're undergoing these processes of trying to potentially even ban the party. So they do play that victim card, and that is tremendously successful and popular with their voters, especially in the east of the country. But it will also trigger that other tendency that people who have long called for a ban of this party, specifically because of Germany's experience with right-wing parties at the helm of this country, they have called for a ban, and they do now feel strengthened. But that is something that will have to be looked at extremely carefully by those politicians. And you do need a democratic institution here to come forward with this demand, with this pledge to actually go forward and request a ban. So that could be done by the Bundestag, and there was a movement in the last term of the Bundestag, but that didn't get the necessary votes. So we'll probably see those people behind that move to potentially ban the party also try and gather more supporters in the next term of the Bundestag. And at the same time, this is a decision that ultimately can only be made by Germany's courts.
Nina Haase, thank you very much for bringing us the latest on that breaking news. Germany's domestic intelligence agency classifying the far-right Alternative for Germany an extremist organisation.